Hey, what's going on, guys? Brian here. Trust you guys are doing well. Wanted to have a conversation with you guys and talk numbers and talk a little bit more about salting and some of our game plans here for 2024 into 2025, winter and beyond. Now, this is a conversation that I have visited. It's a conversation that we need to revisit, and it's a topic that so many of you guys have been encouraging me to evaluate, get into, be a part of, and so much more. Okay, so we're going to break down some of this here for just a couple quick minutes. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to talk to you guys about salt pricing, adding salt as a service to our company. Now, let's just take 2 seconds here. You guys got to understand everything in life is context, right? And maybe you guys know that, maybe you don't, but I'm sure you already understand intuitively if you don't, that when somebody says, hey, you should do this or you should do that, and hey, that's where the money is, or hey, maybe you should look into getting into X, Y, and Z. Granted, everybody comes at that conversation typically, especially with YouTube, with a spirit of just trying to help and just trying to help me. And of course, I totally appreciate that. That's the whole conversation that we have on YouTube and of course our podcast. But what's also something that folks sometimes don't understand, and especially to a casual observer watching the videos, is, hey, Brian, you should get into salting. Brian, you should do this, you should do that. Well, here's the deal. Just like myself and just like anybody else, I guess, out there, and maybe you guys as well, you don't know what people's money looks like. You don't know what people's interest looks like. You don't know what people's commitments look like. You don't know what somebody has going on behind the scenes, and it's a lot, right? And so I say that just because a lot of folks have always said, Fullerton, you got to get into salt. And of course, we'll talk numbers and see what's on the table here. But here's just the reality, guys. My last couple of years of my life have been pretty freaking crazy. YouTube and social media has opened up a lot of doors, a lot of traveling, a lot of awesome opportunities to hang out with so many of you. We do things with the winter season. Is usually a time for me to catch my breath after having an exhaustive 8 or 9 months. Just finishing up the next 6 to 8 weeks building our home. My wife and I have had a couple kids in the last year. We've moved once or twice. We're living in a camper for the last 8, 9 months. Before, it was just myself and Rob. Today we got 4 or 5 full-time guys, 2, 3 part-time kids. So we have a different team. My expenses have went through the roof the last couple of years. My costs have went through the roof. The excitement I've had for growing a bigger company has changed and evolved, right? And so I just want to do this for a quick second, give you guys some context about the conversation we have over here, why I feel it's the right conversation now, and why it wasn't the last couple of years. Yes, you can go and make more money. You can pretty much do anything, anytime to go make more money. Right now, if I wanted to make more money, instead of shooting a video or having evenings off or getting to bed by 9, 10 p.m., I could get a part-time job. I could go Uber. I could go do anything. I could go do more landscaping work, just like so many of you guys. But making more money isn't always what I'm always about or what I always want to do. Now, granted, I do want to make more money in life. I'm sure you guys do too. But just because we can, just because we could, it didn't mean we should. And I say that just because as I'm trying to make YouTube videos, grow the YouTube channel, have a family, keep my marriage together, do all the stuff that you guys are doing, when folks say, hey, you're leaving money on the table for salt, in today's video, we're talking about salt, just know that it comes from a place of, I wasn't interested, it wasn't about the money, I didn't necessarily want to do it, not because I didn't want to make the money, I just couldn't do it with everything else that I had going on. And I know some of you guys would say, well, Fullerton, to go do make the money plowing snow, you guys are already out there and you can go make 2, 3, 4 grand plowing snow and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grand with my size business salting. Yeah, dude, you're probably right. I'm not turning that down. And I've always listened to it, heard it, logged it. But at the end of the day, I just didn't have the bandwidth, to be honest with you guys, let alone the interest, right? And so that conversation is kind of changing. It's evolving. Bigger company, we want to hit bigger revenue goals. We would be foolish to leave some of this money on the table, especially if we start scaling and adding a couple zeros on the end of some of these numbers, right? So what I wanted to do was just talk to you guys for a couple of minutes about some of our salt conversation going into fall and winter of 2025, and of course, the winters beyond. So I am excited about this conversation, and if you guys can weigh in and help me out with what I need to get, what I should be looking at, what you guys have found that works for you, I'm an open book. For the last couple of weeks, till about 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, literally, I'm doing more research than you could ever imagine about salt, salters, salt boxes, Boss Western Snow X, liquid versus bulk salt. I went to SIMA a week and a half ago. Getting lunch with my friend Mike Bedell. getting lunch with my friend Matt, getting lunch with my friend Brian, and so many other guys that have big businesses in the industry and people I really respect, and of course my friend Troy, and learning the salt business, all right? So a lot of words just to say, just because we're not into salting now or previously, doesn't mean we won't ever get into it. And just like any other service that we would like to get into or maybe have interest in, but we're just not doing, it doesn't mean we won't do it in the future, okay? So let's talk numbers, let's talk salt. I just wanted to do this video for a couple quick minutes because I super appreciate how much you guys have cared over the years for me to not leave this money on the table. But I've had such a great subcontractor with Mike Bedell. He's still gonna be helping us out, even if we pick up 5 salt boxes, it doesn't matter, it's 5 salters. Bedell's still gonna be helping us out. He's always got my back. It wasn't about taking any bread off of his plate. Bedell's very successful. He doesn't need my salt business. So if we can bring that in-house, make some more money, save some more money, have a better quality product for our customers, some better service, that's the name of the game. And of course, this all relates to bonuses, raises, higher revenue, higher profit to grow the company. So can I point to the whiteboard? Enough of me talking, alluding to what all this is. So I want to just go through some numbers. Here's what we have available for us on the table, and shoot me some numbers. Are we high? Are we low? Was it the best thing you guys ever did? Did you lose your shirt doing salting? Obviously, we've got great contracts that we have adopted with Lawntrepreneur Academy, and those came from my friend Mike Bedell. Some of you guys have picked those up over the years and supported that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But again, for me personally, we've always subbed out all of our salt. And some of you guys saw that Mark Bradley video that we did onboarding with LMN, and you saw how much we're subbing out, 30, 40, 50 plus $1,000 worth of salt. Like, it's time to probably bring that in-house. All right, so let me show you the whiteboard and then we'll kind of break some stuff down. Let me talk to you guys for just a couple minutes here. Here's the big conversation. And I know these are loose numbers. Let's not get lost in the weeds here, but let me give you some loose numbers. Let's say on average per year, we're doing 100 tons of salt. We're buying it from anywhere from $80 to $100 a ton. Bedell graciously puts it down for me at $240, and we usually charge $260. Now some of these numbers are higher or lower depending on the site, but here's just an open book. Here's the honest truth. Here's what we're doing. Buying it from 80 to 100 plus or minus, my boy Bedell. He puts it down and sells it to me, and then I, obviously mark it up. That's our subcontractor agreement. This is work. We've done, Bedell, how much do you think we've done? $250,000, $500,000 of work? Like, this has worked. Nothing wrong with this. And of course, we make money plowing and shoveling sidewalks and drives, and I get it. It's been fine. But what if we, per 100 tons, bought it at $100 a yard or $100 a ton, 80, 90 a yard, 100 a ton, and we're selling it at $260, right? $260 per ton applied. Okay, that's $16,000 of gross margin, gross profit that we're losing or not keeping, right? We're not losing money, we're just not keeping this to have it work for us in-house. And if we're running a 10% plus, profit margin with our company, which we're on track for, then that's $1,600 of pure net profit per 100 tons of salt. Now, obviously this is a low number. There's a company average, but again, here's the deal. What if we did 200 tons, 300 tons, 400 tons, 1,000 tons? You see how this number, what our cost is and what our gross is and what our net profit is? It can be pretty significant, okay? So I told my guys, here's the macro. Everybody wants raises, everybody wants bonuses, everybody wants nice trucks and new equipment. This is what we're talking about today. Now, for some of you guys that understand salt boxes, let's say we buy 2 VBX 8,000 salters from Boss. Even buying 2 of them, I just put 7,500, it's probably plus or minus $1,000. I got a quote already back from my sales guy, Ted. But even if I'm in the first year, 15,000 on 2 salters, right? And we're putting it down for 100 tons at $26,000 and we're making 16, even covering cost, I'm paying for my salters my first year. Now that's with 2. And the reason, and by the way, the reason I say get 2 is because 2 of my guys and myself, 2 of us, probably equal 1 Bedell. They probably equal 1 Matt Clippers, Troy Clogg, 1 Brian Landforms, right? Like, we're new, we're newbies, we're still learning. Now, it doesn't mean we don't know how to do the work and the service. Like, that's not even the question. Like, we are a professional outfit. We can handle this, no problem. But the first couple times, of course, we're gonna mess up. We're gonna be goofing it up a little bit, too much, too little, too this, too that. And Bedell can always grab a couple sites while we're learning. But I figure if I have 2 salters just covering our butts, for about 8 to 10 salt sites, and we do about 26 commercial sites in general for snow right now, outside of another 30 to 50 residentials, then that would be an appropriate investment. And by the way, I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. That's a question I have, maybe number one for you guys. How many sites can you salt in a couple of hours, right, with a VBX 8,000 or 6,500, a 1 ton or a 1 cubic yard or cubic and a half yard capacity salter? I've always heard the rule, right here, I've always heard the rule, 3 to 1, 3 plow trucks for every 1 salt rig. Okay, so do we need 2 salters? No. Can we? Yes. Can we buy them or finance them? Sure. And we're going to make our money back that first season anyway. So why not just go for it? If we're gonna do it, let's go all in. We could have 2 guys going out and salting, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal because we can have double the coverage and get done twice as fast, right? Also, we have a backup. Of course, we're new, we're gonna break something, so always can't hurt to have a backup. Another conversation here is, let's just point the camera back over here. When we're just doing snow only, a lot of you guys, without having to even say any words, probably already know what this means. Here's your spring rush, here's your summer lull, here's your September, October, November with leaves, and then for most of us, what happens? Right, we got this huge financial dip off, and then usually, if you can see, the line is an inch lower over here than over here, because where we come back in the spring is always on fumes, always on dust, back to eating pancakes because we burned all of the revenue and profit here. And maybe we had a good snow year, but what if we had a bad year? Now we're really digging ourselves out of a hole, right? I had a friend of mine, he's got a huge landscaping company, snow company, and he said they were down $5 million in snow and salt 2 winters ago. And he said, you can't install enough patios to make up for that. That's a big problem, right? So you got to figure out good contracts, flat rate monthlies, hedge on number of inches or number of quality of service. When does it revert back to? Maybe having snow insurance. These are all the conversations I'm having with you guys out here right now as we continue to grow and become more big boy in snow and salt. Okay, we've always done good plowing. We've always had good numbers. Last year, we were flat because we grew, even though we got 23, 24 inches in a 45-inch market. So we grew, but because the winter was so depressed, we were flat. And flat's good compared to the fact that most people were down. I don't know if you guys can relate out there with your Q1, Q2, but Q1, Q2 were brutal this year for us. But pretty much June forward, those lines have crossed. July forward, we'll start making progress and headwind and having a higher gross revenue than last year, which is significant. That's huge. But it took us a couple months to dig out of that hole. Can I be honest with you guys? Can I be candid? Anybody else putting out real-time content like this? I don't think so. Let's go back to the whiteboard, okay? Every time I have a flat rate account, if I'm going out now, I can save 150 to 160 bucks versus Bedell putting it down, or I can make 150, 160 bucks every time we put a ton applied. Okay, let's go back to this. If we're just relying on no winter income, it's the black. If it's just snow plowing only and you have a bad year, huge dip. If it's a decent year, right, just snow, okay, that's fine, we're treading water, but we're not really like making progress. If it's a good winter, right, good winter, good plowing, that's a good hump. Hey, we round some good profit. But what if now we have a good winter or normal winter with snow and salt with the salt profit? Does that make sense? Look at the ridge. Everybody wants to make the money in the spring, a lot of good money in the fall. But all the big boys know something that we don't know, and that's salt and snow. Now again, it can go this way too. So good insurance, good contracts, good mentorship, good program, great routes, great clients. There's a lot here that make up this part. This is, sometimes it's just circumstantial, other times it's a lack of education and a lack of having a proper business model. I don't have it all figured out, but this is the stuff that I'm always trying to mitigate. Because I have a family now, I have a mortgage now, I have guys, mouths that I gotta feed, man. And we got great teams, great employees. I wanna take care of my guys and bless them. I don't wanna lay anybody off, ever. So we need to figure this part of the business out. Easier said than done, perhaps. Obviously, this is hypothetical on a whiteboard, but this is what we're trying to do, all right? And so, at the end of the day, we've got the trucks, we've got the credit, we've got the cash. We can go buy a couple salters. It's not that big of a deal. I think it'd be a phenomenal focus of our time. One of the things that I was kind of concerned about. And we had a team meeting this morning, and I didn't know how it would go. And I pitched the idea to a couple of the guys in private just to get their opinion. My guys are full-time in the winter. I keep them on. Last year, we had 5, maybe 6 times we went out. Very, very expensive winter for no real revenue, no real profit. We did not move the needle forward, just long story short. And here's the deal though, those guys, for the most part, didn't get started in my company to go out and do salting. They didn't get started to go out and do 10, 20, 30 salt runs, right? So I don't want to move the cheese on those guys either. And I just told them candidly, I said, here's the deal. Everybody wants to talk about raises and profit sharing and bonuses and nicer equipment and new trucks and foreman trucks and a shop one day and health insurance and a 401k. And I'm all about that. We can only squeeze so much out of the landscaping. We can only squeeze so much out of the lawn care, right? It's finite. Like we cannot do any more unless we add more crews. Of course, we're gonna add more crews. But the snow, we're doing a pretty good job there. Of course, we can get some more trucks and some more plowing and clients. But the salt's the biggest, the easiest, quickest part of the business that we could add. $30,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 in revenue for Brian Salt Maintenance where we currently stand. And that would take us to $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 business pretty quickly with a good winter, right? So here's the deal. I told the guys, you didn't get signed up to go salt 30 times a year. But would you be interested in it if it was bonuses, profits, raises, 401ks, and healthcare? That's the easiest piggy bank for me to tap for us to grow as a business and to provide for my guys. And actually, the attitude was a pretty overwhelming and resounding, yeah, dude, we got you. Let's go. Let's do it. There was a couple concerns, couple questions, some things we have to work through. No doubt about it. Like, what happens when we're out for 12, 15 hours and then somebody's got to go salt for another hour or two? Hey, whoever's got fresh legs, let's go work together. Or we stagger crews, we stagger shifts. While somebody's wrapping up plowing, somebody else is coming in semi-fresh. Maybe they've only been out for 4 or 5 hours, so somebody else has been out for 12, 15 hours. Okay, that guy's gonna go finish up and salt up some sites and do touch-up work. And that way, Brian's Salt Maintenance can provide 24-hour service when we get like a cyclone bomb snowstorm once a year, once every other year. Right? So there's things we have to work on. Don't get me wrong. That's why we have these team meetings. The number one thing I got out of all the reviews from my guys this spring was more communication and just how the company works. And I said, well, here you go. Here's how the company works. We've been pretty solid on our team meetings every 2 weeks. And the communication I'm getting back from the guys is second to none. I really do feel like we're a tight unit moving forward. So here's the deal. Rob actually brought up a really good point, Foreman Rob. By the way, a lot of you guys said Rob had a glow up on the last video. It's true. He cut his locks. Dude's growing up right before your eyes, right before my eyes. He's an awesome guy. Without Rob, I don't know where we'd be. We'd be back in the Stone Ages. I'm super pumped and thankful for Mark, Ryan, Rob, Jake, Owen, Bronson. Everybody's just been amazing at the company. Here's the deal. Rob made a good point. He goes, even though we're going to salt 30 times, he goes, we already kind of salt, or go out, I should say, a third to half of those times anyway. We're already out plowing. I'm like, oh. I never thought about that. So if we have 30 salt runs a year, we're already out plowing 8, 10, 12 times. Is it that big of an ask to have your guys go out 20 more times in the winter over 150 days or 120 days? Instead of having a time where we go out every 2 weeks for a plow run, what if we went out every 4 or 5 days for 2 hours and just do a quick salt run, right? Because we got 2 trucks, 2 salters. Is it that big of a deal? And thankfully, you know what the team said? No, it's not that big of a deal. We got you. And I'm not putting words in their mouth. That's what they came up with. I said, look, I don't care if you guys want raises, making more money, profit share, healthcare, all that mess. Your boy here does. I want to make progress. I want nicer things. I want to make more income. I want to save for retirement. I want to build a bigger company. How do we do that? We have to tap more out of our current business and of course grow, but there's just so much money there available, 30, 50, 100 grand on the table. Don't want to take any money out of Bedell's mouth by any means, any way, shape, or form. I already called Bedell, told him, I said, dude, I love you, you're my brother. Like, what do I do here? I don't want to take any food off your plate. He's like, dude, there's always work. I'm fine. I'm sure I'll still salt a bunch of your sites. I always got your back. Bedell subs out a couple of our sites anyway because they're just closer to where he lives than where I live. And that's called working together, all right? Like, Bedell and I have made a bag together. We're going to continue to make a bag together. I don't want to take anything out of my friend's mouth, but I told him, I said, hey, dude, I got payroll, man. I got a real company. It's growing. I'm really proud of it. And he's watched and he's helped me and he's always helped me out. But he said, dude, this was a no-brainer. He goes, you're smart to bring that in-house. There's good money there for you. And if you have any problems, call me. I'm here to help you out. What kind of an amazing friend is that? All right, so this looks good on theory. This looks good on paper. We'll see how we execute this fall, winter. I don't want to step on any landmines here. So if you guys have questions, comments, suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. I'm just trying to help you out with this is what my business is doing. We've got great trucks, great people. My guys know how to plow. We are getting super good at site management and commercial sites. I'm just talking practical dollars and cents today. What I was just showing you, that's where the money is. That's where the next big chunk of revenue is for our company. A lot of you guys saw that, like I said earlier, on the LMN breakdown with Mark Bradley. We were sharing our screen, sharing our numbers, and the amount of stuff that we're subbing out, that's the quickest stuff for us to bring in house, besides just continuing to grow by adding people and trucks and overhead, right? Like, that's work that's right in front of our faces. Why not bring that in-house? So anyway, that's what I got. I'm sure we're gonna mess it up 7 ways to Sunday. We'll get better, we'll learn. The first snowstorm, we'll put down too much. The second snowstorm, we'll probably put down too little. The third snowstorm, we'll have it dialed in and we'll be a well-oiled machine. The guys will be cross-trained. We can give out raises, bonuses. We can bring that money in-house and have a better Brian's Lawn Maintenance. That's what I got for you guys in today's video. I'm an open book. I'm learning, I'm trying to grow. Just trying to be candid and honest with you guys that are watching our content. There's a whole new world for us, right? And as soon as we do this, we'll figure it all out, we'll make some more money, and of course make a salt course to sell you for 99 bucks, right? Unbelievable. That's the hustle, right? Unbelievable. All right, love you guys for real. I'm just having fun at the end there, by the way, but we probably will. So that's what I got for you. I'm an open book. Anything I can help you guys out with numbers, please let me know. I was actually onboarding today with LMN for an hour and a half, getting our snow templates together, our snow pricing together. First winter using LMN. I'm so excited about just maturing and growing as a business owner in the landscaping industry and documenting that with you guys and for you guys, so we can show you that if we can do it, you can do it. All right, I'm here to learn. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot me an email, shoot me a comment. I read every single one of them. I love to hear what you guys are using for equipment. Hill Tip, Boss, VBXs, SnowX, Western, pre-wet system, bulk salt, how much you're getting for a ton. Anything you got like that, leave me comments, shoot me an email. I am exceedingly grateful and thankful for your guys' participation and growing this community together. All right, over and out, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of the day. We'll catch up with you guys later this week.